Am I the a-hole for not giving my brother and his wife the gift I got them since she didn't want me at his birthday party? I am 39, travel for work and make good money. I have never been interested in settling down or having a family. I mostly work and take vacations. I don't own an apartment, much less a house. I live out of a backpack and a duffel bag. My brother Victor 30 is the opposite. All he ever wanted since he was a kid was to have a perfect family. Our dad did the same kind of work that I do and Victor hated it. He was always closer to our mom than our dad. He married the first girl he dated after college and they already have 2 kids. They are happy. And I love my brother and my nephews. I spend a bunch of my extra money on them because I have more than I need and I want them to have a great life. My brother chose to be a teacher so he could spend more time with his wife and kids. I respect that, but he isn't well paid. His 30th birthday was coming up and I decided to do something nice for his family. I checked with him when he and his wife had a free week this summer and I got them a week away at Disney World. I also paid for my folks to go along so they could watch the kids and give him and his wife some alone time. His wife thinks I'm a scumbag because I refuse to get a girlfriend or have a serious relationship. I don't want that. I like meeting a woman at a resort or on a tour. Spending a week together and then saying goodbye. It works for me. They don't want anything more from me than I am willing to give. Because she thinks I'm a degenerate, womanizing, alcoholic, dirtbag, she doesn't want me around her husband or children. So she made sure I knew I wasn't invited to his birthday party at their house. I am seriously tired of her bullshit, so I canceled everything. I took my mom and dad on a golf vacation instead. I sent my brother a card with $100 gift card to a restaurant he likes. My sister-in-law found out from my parents what his original gift was going to be and has been contacting me saying that I'm being a dick taking away an experience like that from her family over a party invitation. I told her that she was the one who decided I wasn't good enough to be around her family, so my dirty money wasn't going to be around her either. I told her not to bother me anymore. My folks are staying out of it and my brother is as well. He knows I don't owe him shit and that I just like to blow money on stupid gifts. Am I the a-hole? Refuse to help my privileged wife cover her increased cost of living. So I, M39, am married to the love of my life, F36. We have 2 sweet kids, ages 5 and 9, and we all live in a house in a nice small typical Scandinavian town. Our economy is mostly shared, more on this in a bit. I'm an engineer, working as consultant. Great pay and benefits. I make more than I spend. My wife has a master's degree in human communication, a horribly useless degree, even according to herself. Since graduating something like 8 years ago, she has been unable to find a job in her field. Note, those 8 years does include her second pregnancy and maternity leave. Here's the thing. My wife has very wealthy parents, like no financial worries at all wealthy. Thanks to them, her share of our house was gifted to her. I still pay mortgage on my share. They gifted her a brand new car. I drive my own. Each Christmas, they gift her $20,000, her, not me. Besides that yearly gift, she has more or less been without income for most of her adult life, including when she attended university. She did hold a few odd jobs here and there. We share all family-related expenses, utilities, food, insurances, vacations, kids stuff and so on, through a shared account, 50-50. Besides that, we have our own accounts. But many purchases goes toward the family/house/kids anyway, so it's not like airtight. You know how it is. My wife recently got a part-time job, 15 to 20 hours/week, in a clothing store. Pay is terrible, hours are weird and she doesn't get along with the owner. Therefore, she is considering quitting. I'm telling her to go ahead, but also that even a bad job pays better than no job. In my opinion, she is a little picky with jobs. Won't do cleaning, elderly care and other stuff like that, despite those being jobs she is able to get without any qualifications. She keeps applying for jobs in her own field, but so far without any luck besides a couple of first-round interviews. The market is very limited. Because of increased cost of living, you all know the story, her yearly gift and small paycheck doesn't quite cut it anymore. She tells me that she is barely making ends meet. Therefore, she has asked me to help her out, by paying a larger share of our shared expenses. I basically said no. I told her that not many people are as privileged as her and that she really should be less picky, or even consider requalification, new education in her field of work. I felt bad telling her, but also needed to be honest with her. I could help her out, but that just doesn't sit right with me, all things considered. So now of course, according to her, I'm an asshole. But am I? Am I the a-hole for telling my husband if he wants someone to stay home with our baby, he can do it? For context, I'm currently 29 weeks pregnant. My husband, 29M, and I, 30F, met in college, and have been together for 8 years, married for 2. Our relationship has always been solid, and progressive. My husband has never been much of a traditionalist despite growing up in a very stereotypical family, had 2 siblings and a stay-at-home mom. His dad worked Up until recently, we've agreed on nearly everything, save for small things, in our marriage and how to raise kids. However, 2 days ago, we were talking about baby stuff, and my husband started mentioning that he thought maybe one of us should stay home with the baby for a while, and not go back to work after our maternity/paternity leave is over. We both work in tech, and make good money and have great benefits. I get 20 weeks of leave after the baby is born, he gets 12. We were trying to decide if we should stagger our leave so someone could be home with the baby until 6 months, the age where most places near us will start daycare. My husband said that he read that it's better for the baby to have a parent home for the first year. So I asked him, thinking nothing of it, if that's really something he'd consider, since he might have to quit his job. He asked why he would have to quit, since I should obviously be the one to stay home with the baby. I asked him if he was serious and he said yes, the mom should be the one to stay home. I said, how are we going to make that work on just his income? For context, I make about 3 times what my husband does. It's never been an issue and never mattered to me. I just finished my master's earlier than he did, we both have them, and went into a more specialized field. We both make good money, but it's my job primarily that pays for the lifestyle we have. So I asked him what we were going to do for a year on January 4th, the income with a new baby. He got a little upset and said I shouldn't even bring that up and that he makes good enough money to provide for us and I shouldn't question him. I got mad, and said it wasn't realistic and it was silly for the person who made more money to quit their job, especially since he's the one who thinks someone should be with the baby extra time. I was fine with sending baby to daycare starting at 6 months. The fight blew up from there, me saying he's being sexist and not considering my feelings at all. I refused to back down and he ended up taking off after I said he should be the stay-at-home parent if he wants one so bad, and him saying he didn't deserve to be emasculated just for suggesting I should stay home like a good mom. I talked to some of my family and his family about it and the answers are kind of split. So am I the a-hole for bringing up the pay disparity and telling him that unless he's the one to stay home, baby is going to daycare? Am I the a-hole for only paying for my wife and I at a restaurant? I, 24M, and my wife, 24F, are newlywed couples. My wife has 4 friends who she has been really close with since high school. For a celebration my wife decided to go to an expensive steakhouse. The day comes and we go in separate cars there. We all eat and my wife slides the bill, $700 plus, and proceeds to say, the man should always pay for the wife and her friends. I laugh awkwardly saying why. She says because I'm the man. I tell her that the only other person I would pay for would be you and me. Her friends proceeded to laugh at me calling me a broke husband. I stand up and put 2 $100 bills for me and my wife's food and leave. My wife gets home and starts screaming at me, saying I made her feel embarrassed. How she promised her friends I'd pay. And that her friends made fun for her on the ride home for marrying a man who can't pay the bill. I decided to pack a bag and head to my friend's house. I told my parents/friends and they say I should have just paid it. Now I'm having second thoughts if I overreacted. AITA. Edit 1. Hi guys, I've read someone comments if my wife has ever acted like this. And she never has. That why I just laughed awkwardly. The only other time she did this was when I didn't buy her mom food. Which happened when we first started dating. And it was the first time she ever screamed at me like that. Instead of escalating it, I just left. And when we do argue it's not a screaming match. For how long we have dated? I've known her since freshman year of high school. And got together junior year. Dated for 8+ years. I read some comments and decided to go talk to her tomorrow about what happened, why she did that, etc. I do recognize that I didn't pay the full amount of me and my wife's dinner. I do take fault in that. I should have added another $50 to $75 to make it the price of 2 people. For the people who say I forgot to tip, I go there regularly with my coworkers, each pay for their own plate, and always leave a good tip. Am I the a-hole for thinking my wife overreacted when an elderly lady touched our kid? My wife and I went shopping. I went to a different aisle to get some jerky. I heard my wife scream help. So I ran over, and she was freaking out because an elderly woman hugged our son. You can tell the woman was harmless. The woman's son came along and profusely stating that she had dementia and she meant no harm, that she tends to view every child as her child. I said it was okay, and I myself apologized for my wife's overreaction. During this time I was not paying attention and my wife called 911, and called over security. It became a huge mess for all parties because my wife was not letting the issue go. You could also tell the son was extremely embarrassed, as was I. I was trying to relax my wife, but she was going on a complete meltdown rage saying that his mother should be in a home if she cannot keep her hands to herself. What if she got our kid sick, tried to kidnap him, got combative and hurt him? All of which I agree are possible outcomes, but I told her none of that happened, so let's just leave it. Security states since the wife called the police we had to wait for them to show up, so they can file a report as per their store policy. About 25 minutes later police showed up and asked what happened and my wife explained everything. You can tell the police were like, WTF is wrong with this woman? I felt nothing but disappointment. Police took the statement and started laughing as they left. Gave the son of the elderly mom a fist bump and said sorry. My wife was upset I did not have her side. She was upset how I took the side of the son instead of her. I explained his mom was clearly sick. It was a harmless gesture and explained she was one that acted unreasonably. I did acknowledge her concerns, but nothing bad happened. We could have just let it slide and went on with our day. She told me I failed as a husband. So we ran the story by our family and friends. It is a 50-50 split. So my Bill said this would be a funny story for Am I the A-hole? He frequents the sub. Sorry, forgot to add our kid is 19 months old.